The whole idea of teaming up and all the rest of that is terrible. The idea of players leaving small markets is terrible. Giannis should stay in Milwaukee, and Zion should stay in New Orleans, and John Morant should stay in Memphis, and the league is better when those guys are in all those places. And then again, regardless of what team he is on, I do like the idea that he shouldn't be chasing rings by just trying to team up with others. Now, I do understand why it might be very frustrating to be a great player like Giannis, and he is a superstar, a brilliant individual player, and to see all these other guys teaming up and saying, well, I basically can't win if I don't do it. I understand the frustration. Maybe the most interesting part of all that psychologically that Charles just said was when he said it's not a rite of passage to win a championship. Now, you all know that Charles didn't win one in his career. But that didn't used to be the only thing. We've become very championship-centric. And maybe on some level, I have to take some blame for that. And Mike and I started talking about that a long time ago. And we started talking about how Michael had 6 and what it would take for anyone to try and be as great as him. I think Kobe was the reason we were talking about it originally. And then, of course, it became LeBron. And we weren't the only ones. But we've become very ring-centric. And if you're under the age of 30 or 35, you might be thinking, well, what do you mean we've become ring-centric? That's always been the most important thing. It really hasn't. I mean, yes, a championship was the most important thing, but it wasn't the only thing. It wasn't like there was either championship or failure. It wasn't like every player who didn't win a championship had a bad year or didn't have a great career. And we didn't generally judge how great a player was by how many championships they won. That really wasn't the way we used to measure these things. Michael kind of screwed all that up by winning the way he did. I covered Michael Jordan every single day for years. We never talked about how many rings Bill Russell had, not once. I hosted local talk shows. I appeared on them every single day in Chicago from 1992 until 1996 when I left to go to ESPN. Not once did we talk about how many rings Bill Russell had, or how many rings Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had, or how many rings Larry Bird had, or Magic Johnson, or anybody. Michael changed that. All of a sudden, Michael set a new standard. He was the best player. Could anyone ever supplant him? The logical next question is, how does someone supplant him as the best player? The logical conclusion is, well, he won 6 championships. We might as well start there. And that's kind of the way it feels. This wasn't like Tiger Woods chasing Jack Nicklaus's record for majors. That isn't the way we used to judge basketball players. It really isn't. And it, of course, definitively is now. So Giannis will not be a failure if he never wins a ring, and his season this year wasn't a failure. I would see it maybe was a disappointment. And the only thing I will give him some slack on is that I can see where it would be very frustrating to be him and see all these other guys teaming up. I mean, in his own conference, here come Durant and Kyrie together, and he's out there thinking to himself, well, I can't beat those guys. I can see that being frustrating. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.